Every year going back to 2023, I've made it a goal to visit at least one country once a year. And to that point, I've only had New Zealand, all of Australia, and Singapore under my belt. But much like every other basic broke university student, I really wanted to go to Japan. And I'm so happy to say that I finally went to Japan for the first time in November 2025.
I got Pierre in this bitch. Yeah. I got these hoes in this bitch. Yeah. Carrots, they all in my ears.
So for some weird ass reason, coming up to the day that I was gonna fly off to Japan, I was so fucking terrified. Yeah, I was excited, but a part of me felt sick. Because this is kind of the first time that I've ever gone on a solo trip, or a trip without my family. Like sure, I've gone to New Zealand alone and Singapore alone, but New Zealand is literally my neighbor, and Senator, I'm from Singapore. I don't know if anyone could tell at the departure when our family was sending us off to the airport, but I was dead quiet. Like usually I'm very talkative and I love talking and I love making jokes, but on that day I can remember all the words I said because I was so anxious and just really scared. But at the end of it all turned out okay. One thing I've learned from this is you gotta take those big jumps and take those risks because you never know what you'll find at the other end of things. Anyways, let's talk about Japan. So when I say Japan, I mainly mean Tokyo because that's where we kinda stayed for the 10 days that we were there, plus 2 days in Fuji, which I'll talk about in a later chapter because that deserves a segment of its own. Anyways, I was amazed to be in Japan. Like at that moment I still felt like it was a fever dream. Now I wanna unveil the curtains a little bit, but to no one's surprise, I am a huge weeb. So while everyone was so amazed by these touristy spots like Disneyland and whatever, I don't really know where people go to Japan for tourist locations, I was more fascinated by spots that happened in certain anime fights that I watched. I posted on my story, this is where Sukuna and Gojo fought in Shinjuku. This is where Ultraman Season 2 happened. Like my friend could not understand for the life of him why I was so happy to be in the Shibuya crossing, but he doesn't know that that's where Sukuna and Mahoraga started fighting. That's also where Itadori had a crash out. But in reality, it's just a zebra crossing. It shouldn't be that special. I felt like this was for the little me who has seen all these shrines and all these locations all throughout these years, from anime, manga, pop culture, TikTok, social media and all that. Like that little me was finally satisfied. Like to put it into perspective, I felt like I was Eren Yeager in that one scene when he was above the clouds and he was saying how he feels free. Only difference is I wasn't murdering 80% of the world. Also, I was never really a fan or interested in art exhibitions or anything like that, but that completely changed when we went to the National Art Center in Tokyo and even Odaiba, and more specifically Team Labs, because Team Labs was amazing. Also, look at how huge this Gundam was. It's actually massive. Now I do want to take this part of the video to talk about where we stayed in Japan because we stayed in 4 different locations all across Tokyo plus Fuji of course. So for starters, we stayed at the Shinjuku Washington Hotel based at Shinjuku, and it was pretty good. It wasn't all too expensive and the view was pretty good, but my favorite part of the hotel is 2 things. One, there were 2 24-hour konbinis on the ground floor, so whenever you're hungry and you want to grab a quick snack, you can easily go there and grab whatever you want. And as you can tell from these videos, we got pretty hungry every single time. Another bonus was that there was a buffet on the floor above us that was for $25 per person or 2,500 yen per person, and it was so sugoi. Yeah, I can't lie, this is why I gained 4 or 5 kilos over the 3 weeks or 2 weeks I was in Japan. I'm quite fat. One thing that we both agreed that we didn't really like was that the nearest station was quite far of a walk, but it wasn't that bad. What I mean is, it's not bad if you're walking to the station like from your hotel, but after a long day out and you're tired and you're holding shopping bags, it kind of gets to you because you gotta climb a flight of stairs and you gotta like walk a bit more, and it gets pretty tiring. I still would go again. Very nice amenities, very nice service, and it was so amazing. Some would even say subarashi. Now the next place that we stayed at was at Fujikawaguchiko, but I do want to talk about that in its own chapter, so let's skip all the way to Yoshi's Designer Hotel at Asakusa. Initially, I didn't really like it, and I feel like that was on me because coming from our hotel at Fuji, it felt like a major downgrade, which it is, but that was just me being a hater. Come to think of it now, it's actually not a bad spot. Like, in my opinion, it's kind of better than Shinjuku in the sense that the location, because I'm not really a big fan of Shinjuku, I'm gonna be honest. You know, being from Singapore, I remember my parents taking me to these night markets and just remembering how amazing and how delicious the street food was. And in Asakusa, that entire experience is just elevated and amplified. I had so much food that one night, from takoyakis in a taco to fucking kebabs in a plastic cup, and don't even get me started on teriyakis and crepes. I think I've gained a good portion of my fat back from just eating crepes. Anyways, back to the hotel. It was pretty good for budget travelers like us, and I don't really have any complaints. One thing I did appreciate was that there was a vending machine right below us, and because my blood sugar level tends to get pretty low pretty quickly, I could simply get an apple juice for $1. And now we go to the Narita Airport's capsule hotel. I thought it would be very cramped and very tight, but it was actually quite spacious and honestly very cozy. Like, the whole lighting, it just was so nice and very aesthetic. But I could not sleep the entire night because our flight was at like 7 AM and I didn't want to miss it, so I didn't sleep at all. This part of my trip changed my entire brain chemistry, and honestly for the better. Now, it's been a dream of mine to drive in Japan, but if you were to tell me last year that I would be driving in Japan with this as my view, I would honestly not believe you. Because I can't express what I was feeling during this time, just driving, like my hands on the wheel, and in front of me was Mount Fuji at her most clearest visibility. Like, my friend picked the best time to go to Mount Fuji or to go to Fujikawaguchiko. The visibility was insane. I was so happy, and as ashamed as I was to admit it, I did cry a little bit because how could I not? Look at this view. I was also very depressed because I know that a week later from then, I'll be going from driving around Mount Fuji to driving around fucking kangaroos and koalas. If you're gonna stay at Fujikawaguchiko for more than a day, I do highly recommend hiring a car so that you can make the most of your travels at Fujikawaguchiko. Because if it wasn't for the car, we wouldn't have gone to this nice ass restaurant that we ate at, and we wouldn't have been able to go to Shiraito Falls, which by the way is completely beautiful and really stunning. I didn't really notice it until we got back from the falls, but my friend brought it up to me. We actually drove past Aokigahara, and if you're unaware about the history about that area, then I do recommend reading up on it on your own time because it's quite sad actually. Driving to this view is one thing, but waking up to this view is completely a different thing. Like, oh my god. As broke university students, we decided with boy maths that it was justifiable for us to spend a bit more money on a really nice place in Fujikawaguchiko. And a nice place it really fucking was, because look at this place. It had everything I ever wanted, like tatami floors, wooden doors, futon beds, this amazing gorgeous fucking view. Like, everything was so surreal. And it also came with a private bath or a public onsen. Now, because at that night it was my friend's birthday, I let him have the private bath to himself, and I also wanted to try out the public onsen. And I can shamefully say that I am quite small. Now, I'm fighting every cell in my body to gatekeep this place because this is kind of my safe space, but I gotta talk about it. Shimokitazawa is unarguably my most favorite part about Japan and is rivaling up there with Fujikawaguchiko. As a matter of fact, it was so good that I took a day off to split up from my friend just to go back to Shimokitazawa and enjoy more of the area. That was the first time I've ever felt like a headache from coffee because I've had so much coffee that day. I went crazy with the cafe hopping. The cafes were so good, like the architecture of every single cafe that I've went into was so different and so contrasting each other. Like, it was amazing to see how different the vibe was for each place. I even made some pretty good friends there. I still talk to them and I can't wait to see them again the next time I'm in Shimokitazawa. Also, Shimo has some really good thrift stores and vintage clothing stores for some really good prices, so I definitely recommend going there if you want to buy some cheap, cool clothes. The next time I'm in Japan, I'm definitely staying in Shimo for more than 2 or 3 days. I need to experience what it's like to live there. Honestly, this video doesn't even cover half of what we did in Japan. Like, I was really considering making a whole segment for Akihabara and Ikebukuro, but you guys can already tell by how much of a geek I am. I mean, literally, I bought a whole new suitcase just for anime toys, manga books themselves, and plushies. While my friend went crazy with the clothes and the pants and stuff, I went crazy with buying the most pointless anime figurines of all time. But I have no regrets because the small pieces that I did pick out from Japan, like clothing wise, I absolutely fell in love with. And I think I did a really good job with buying the best value items, because you can really fall into the trap of just spending too much money than you probably would have liked on a certain clothing item. If you guys do want to see an exact detail word for word haul for everything I bought in Japan, I'll probably put it on my Instagram, so just follow me there. Shameless plug. Anyways, I feel like it's very cliche for someone to say this because everyone says this after they come back from Japan, but Japan has genuinely changed the way I view my life and the way I live life now. Because simply put, before my trip to Japan, I was very simple-minded and a bit of a dickhead. To put it in words, I took a lot of things for granted, and the way I was living life before Japan was very materialistic, and I can say that temporary pleasure was kind of the goal for every single action I took. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect now, but there's definitely been real change in how I live my life now in comparison to before I went on holiday to Japan. Also, I do feel like it wasn't just because of Japan. I feel like if I went to any other country and had the same experiences, like seeing amazing views and amazing sights, I still would have had this change, but Japan did play a part. So, for example, I've only ever been to art galleries or anything of that related matter, mainly for first dates like on Hinge, and I've never really paid much attention to the beauty or the interesting parts about the art galleries. I only went there just for dates. It's a bit shallow, but yeah. So my first experience when indulging in every single art piece that the National Art Center in Tokyo has, it was amazing. And fast forward to today, 3 months later, I have made a lot of good habits in my life. You know, it's not the same as going to Mount Fuji and seeing Mount Fuji, but I try to go on hikes at least twice a month or once every 2 weeks, just to relive the feeling of what I was feeling when I was seeing Mount Fuji, which I come to realize now is just simply the feeling of freedom. And as someone who was incredibly shut in as a child and just was addicted to video games, I feel so bad for every single time my parents asked me to go out with them, like go on a hike or go trekking with their family friends or whatever, and I would always say no. And looking back, I missed out on a lot of good opportunities. I think just traveling in a sense made me more motivated, because like before traveling I kind of felt like I already knew it all and I had it all, but clearly I don't. I was too arrogant, and there's so much more in this world that I have yet to explore. So yeah, I think in general I owe it all to traveling. I finally have something that I want to work towards and achieve. So yeah, if you've made it this far to the video, I want to thank you guys for making it this far. This is probably my longest video ever, and I will be back in Japan eventually. If not this year, definitely next year. And I'm thinking Kyoto, Osaka, and Hokkaido. Definitely Hokkaido. I really want to go to Hokkaido. But in the meantime, I will be busy booking my trips to Guatemala, Singapore again, and here's to hoping UK. So yeah, a lot of plans, no money. But I'll see you guys in the next vlog. See ya.